A very good afternoon to all. Today I will be talking about psoriasis. So what psoriasis is basically. So let's introduce psoriasis by psoriasis is a chronic skin disease result in patches of thick red skin which is covered with silvery scales. Okay, so like fishes, they have scales, right? The white portion. So even in the patient with psoriasis, they will instead of having thick red skin, but their skin will be covered with silver scales. Okay, these patches are referred as plaque or plaque, which usually occur on the elbow, the knees, legs, scalp, lower back, face, palm and sole of the feet and nails too. So basically these silvery patches or silvery uh, scales will be present mostly in these specific areas. So that was the introduction about psoriasis. Now let's go to the definition. What is psoriasis all about? Psoriasis is a long-lasting autoimmune disease condition which is characterized by patches of abnormal skin. Okay, so this basically psoriasis is nothing but autoimmune disease. Autoimmune disease is a disease condition where our immune system is attacking our our body. Okay, so they are attacking our body. Therefore, our immune system. Therefore, these patients also will. It is a long-lasting or a chronic stage, and these patients will develop silvery patches of skin. These skin patches are typically red, itchy, and scaly. Psoriasis varies in severity from small, localized patches to complete body coverage. Injury to the skin can trigger psoriatic skin changes at that spot, which is also known as Koebner phenomenon. So, what is Koebner phenomenon all about is that whenever there's an injury in the skin, okay, maybe because of accidents or anything, that will trigger the psoriatic skin changes at the spot. So, there will be changes in the skin formation. So, that is known as Koebner phenomenon. Psoriasis is the result of a speed up skin production system. Okay? Typically, skin cells grow deep in the skin and slowly rise to the surface. Eventually, they fall off. So this is a normal process where our skin cells they grow where they grow deep in the skin, that is in the dermis layer. Okay, and slowly they will rise to the surface, that is they will slowly rise up to the epidermis layer, which is the outermost layer of the skin, and eventually they will fall off. The typical life cycle of a skin cell is 28 to 30 days. So this is the normal life cycle of a skin cell. Whereas patient with psoriasis, what happens is this production process, it will speed up. Okay, why? Because of the premature maturation of keratinocytes. So these keratinocytes, they will be matured very fast at a very early stage, and they occur in just a few days, that is 2 to 3 days. Within these 2 to 3 days, what happens is this production process will go on at a very fast speed, and there will be maturation of these keratinocytes which are premature, okay, which are not fully matured. So because of this reason, the skin cells, they don't have the time to fall off. So because they are changing very fast, within 2 to 3 days, they are changing rapidly. So they don't have the time to fall off. So there will be overlapping of the cells. Okay. So this rapid overproduction will lead to a buildup of the skin cells, and therefore the patient will develop psoriasis. So this is how psoriasis will take place in a body. So I hope it is clear about the definition of psoriasis and how this psoriasis is developed. Next, going to the incidence, 1 to 3% and in America and in Western areas. So this psoriasis incidence, it occurs about 1 to 3%, and it is present mostly in America and the Western countries. Lower rates are found in Japanese people, and psoriasis is rare in the West Africa. So in West Africa, the psoriasis is very rare in such places. Even in Japan, the low rates are very low, but whereas in America and other Western countries, the incidence is a little bit high. Psoriasis first appears during two peak age ranges. The first peak occurs in persons aged between 16 to 22 years, and the second occurs in persons between 57 to 60 years. So psoriasis will occur in two peak ages, two peak age. Okay, so that is 16 to 22 years. That will be the first peak, and the second peak will be 57 to 60 years. So these are the ages where the rate of psoriasis is very high. Now coming to etiology. So what are the causes for psoriasis? Number one, idiopathic cause. So the specific cause for psoriasis is not known. Some of the factors that may trigger psoriasis are as follows. So these are some of the triggering factors which can cause psoriasis. They are: number one, genetic. Number two, autoimmune reaction. Okay, where our immune where the immune cells, they are attacking the normal parts of our body. Number two, infection. If there's any infection due to any microorganisms like bacteria or virus or fungi. And third is, last is injury to the skin. So if there's any injury to the skin also, this can trigger the patient to get psoriasis. Next, medications. Medications like lithium, anti-malarial medication like hydroxychloroquine, Inderal and indomethacin. So these are some of the medications also that can trigger the person to develop psoriasis. Next, stress. Stress is also another risk factor or the triggering factors that can cause psoriasis. Obesity and smoking. So these are some of the triggering factors that can cause psoriasis. Now coming to the classification, there are many types of psoriasis. So let's go into one by one. First is plaque psoriasis. Number two, guttate psoriasis. Third, inverse psoriasis. Fourth, pustular psoriasis. Fifth, erythrodermic psoriasis. Sixth, nail psoriasis. And seventh, psoriatic arthritis. So let's go into deep. What is it all about? What are their definitions and what does it indicate? Plaque psoriasis. So it is the most common type of psoriasis. Okay, it is also known as psoriasis vulgaris. So this plaque psoriasis, okay, it is the most common type of psoriasis as compared to other types of psoriasis. This is the most common type, and there's another name for it known as psoriasis vulgaris. So it appears. What are the signs and symptoms? It appears as a raised, inflamed red skin which is covered by silvery patches or scales. So as you can see, here the silvery patches, or it's like a scale formation. Okay, so these are some of the signs and symptoms of plaque psoriasis. You can see the redness of the skin which is covered by the silvery patch. Okay, so the areas where this type of psoriasis can occur are elbows, knees, sacrum, scalp, lower back, hands, and the feet. So these are some of the regions where plaque psoriasis they are mostly occur. Next, guttate psoriasis. Guttate, it comes from a Latin word meaning drop. Okay, it is characterized by eruption of small 0.5 to 1.5 centimeter in diameter. These are small papules over the upper trunk and proximal extremities. So these guttate psoriasis, so it's like a drop. So it's like a small, it's a round figure. Okay, so a small or small papules or small coin-shaped size, they may be present over the upper trunk and the proximal extremities. It can occur at an early age, that is especially the younger people, they can develop this type of psoriasis. Streptococcal throat infection frequently precedes or is concomitant with the onset of flare. So patients having streptococcal infection, or we call it as strep throat infection. Okay, so if there's any if a patient is developing this type of infection, so they are at a higher risk for developing cutate psoriasis. Next, inverse psoriasis. It is localized in the major skin folds, that is in the axilla, you can see in the picture, the inguinal and the inflammatory areas, and the sweating areas. So wherever the areas where there's excessive sweating, like the axilla, the groin, the inguinal, and the inflammatory areas, these are some of the hotspots for inverse psoriasis. Scaling is usually minimal or absent, and the lesions appear glossy, smooth, and bright red. So the lesions that are present in these areas, they are glossy. They are shiny, they are smooth in surface, and they are what color? They are bright red in color. Okay, and scaling. The scales are very less or absent. It is commonly seen in which type of patient? In obese patient, obesity. Next type is pustular psoriasis. It is usually uncommon, but it mostly appears in adults. So it occurs mostly in adults as compared to younger people. It appears as pus-filled lesions surrounded by red skin. It appears mostly in the hands and feet. So this pustular psoriasis occurs in the extremities mostly. It can be in the hands or it can be the feet, and they are pus which are filled, which are surrounded by the red skin. It is a serious condition, so immediate medical attention is required because there is a pus collection. So immediate treatment should be taken because this can lead to spread of infection. Next, erythrodermic psoriasis. The disease affects all body sides. So this disease condition can occur any part of the body. Erythema is the most prominent feature with superficial scaling, that is, or peeling that may appear like burning. Okay, so as you can see here the picture, okay, you can see the scales, and it looks like this hand is being burnt. Okay, the causes are sunburn or allergic reaction, or a person who is allergic to some solvent or solutions or soap or detergent. Okay, strong cold product use or using any cold products. So this is a type of erythrodermic psoriasis. Next, nail psoriasis. It is commonly seen along with psoriatic arthritis. So nail with the word nail there. So we can imagine that it is mostly present among the nails region. So it appears as a pitting, small bit nail. Okay, it looks like a person has bit their nails. Yellow-brown nails, as you can see, yellow color and brown nails. Tender and painful nails with chalk-like debris. Okay, so you can see here this is like a white color debris. They are built up under the nails. Keep the nails short and trimmed. So that is the first management that we have to take. That is, we should keep the nails short and trimmed. They are treated by steroid injected into the nails or light therapy. So phototherapy or light therapy is required in this type of psoriasis, and injection steroids, anti-inflammatory injections can also be given. Corticosteroids can also be given to these patients. Next, psoriatic arthritis. Psoriatic arthritis, it is a condition which involves both psoriasis and joint inflammation. So if there's any inflammation of the joints along with psoriasis, then we can call this as psoriatic arthritis. So you can see here the blue arrow, it is a normal joint space. Okay, so this is a normal joint. This is a normal interphalangeal joint. Okay, now the red arrow cup is the cup and saucer effect of the fourth metatarsal bone being jammed into the base of the fourth toe. So you can see the red arrow. Okay, so here there will be inflammation, and the yellow circle, pencil appearance, destruction, characteristics of this disease. So here you can see there will be bone erosions, and because of the inflammation there will be bone erosions, and there will be pain and swelling also over these regions. So this is psoriatic arthritis. So as you can see, this is another picture of psoriatic arthritis. So as you can see here, the distal interphalangeal joint. Okay, so this is the distal phalangeal joint, and this is the proximal phalangeal joint. Okay, so the most affected areas are the distal phalangeal joint. Okay, where there will be inflammation in the joints. Okay, so the most distinctive features of psoriatic arthritis. So the main signs and symptoms of psoriatic arthritis is, number one, that there will be inflammation in the distal interphalangeal joint. Okay, so that is called distal interphalangeal joint arthritis. And number two, dactylitis. Dactylitis is nothing but inflammation of the toes and the fingernails. Next, common signs and symptoms are, number one, it will vary according to different types of psoriasis will have different signs and symptoms. Initially, the first sign of psoriasis is red spots on the body and patches of the skin. Dry, swollen and inflamed. They are covered with silver white flakes. Raised and thick skin is present, and other symptoms of psoriasis will include pain, itching and burning. So these are some of the common signs and symptoms that we will find in all types of psoriasis. Other signs and symptoms are restricted joint motion or pain. So in case of psoriatic arthritis, where there will be inflammation in the joints, the patient will not be able to move their interphalangeal joints or or any type of joint. So there will be restricted joint motion or there will be pain. Then cracked and bleeding skin. Next, dandruff on the scalp. Pus-filled blisters, genital lesions in males, pitting, small depression on the surface of the nail, yellow or discolored nail, and Koppner phenomenon and arthritis, that is inflammation of the joints. Next, what are the diagnostic tests that we can perform a patient to detect whether the patient is having psoriasis or not? First, we have to history collection. Physical examination. We have to examine the patient from head to toe. We have to see what are the types of lesions and if they're scaly patches, then we have to note all the regions and how much is the diameter and what are the regions that are being affected. Next, we will take a skin biopsy will be performed under local anesthesia. Blood and radiography test was done to rule out psoriatic arthritis. Okay, so radiography test will be performed, and X-ray and ultrasound also will be performed on these cases. Now coming to the management, first the medical management. So first is the topical ointment. Topical ointments means application of any ointment or application of any gel or creams. So topical corticosteroids. Corticosteroids are nothing but steroids, for example, hydrocortisone or Efcordin, commonly known in the hospital. So they are very useful and often the first line treatment. So topical corticosteroids, they are the first line treatment for psoriasis. These come in many preparations like sprays. It comes in the form of spray, liquid, cream, gels, ointments and foams. Next medicine is calcipotriene cream. It is useful in psoriasis. Why? Because of its effect on calcium metabolism. Okay. The advantage of calcitriol is that it is not known to thin the skin like topical steroids. Okay, so calcipotriene cream is also very effective because of the presence of calcium, because of the effect of calcium metabolism. Next, moisturizers, especially with therapeutic concentrations of salicylic acid, lactic acid, urea and glycolic acid may be helpful in psoriasis. So moisturizers which contains these acids, they are very helpful in reducing psoriasis. Next, bath salts or bathing in high salt concentration waters like the Dead Sea in the Middle East along with careful exposure to the sunlight, can be beneficial to psoriasis patients. So there is a Dead Sea. A Dead Sea is it is present in the Middle East countries. So there, if a patient goes and take a bath in the Dead Sea, then that also can be very helpful to the patient. But you have to make sure that he or she should be careful when exposing to the sunlight. Next, coal tar is available in multiple preparations including shampoos, bath solutions and creams. Coal tar may help to reduce the appearance and reduce the flakes in psoriasis. So the silvery flakes or the silvery patches that we see as a sign and symptom of psoriasis. So this coal tar is very helpful in decreasing the flakes. Next, coming to the oral medications that we can be given by orally. First is methotrexate, okay, tablet methotrexate, also known as Trexol, acitretin, soriatane, cyclosporine, Neurol, and apremilast or Otezla and others. So there are many medications. So these are some of the medications that we can give orally in the form of tablets or capsules. Next, injections. What are the injections that we can give to our patient? These are the follows. Number one, tumor necrosis factor alpha, TNF alpha inhibitors. For example of a medication is known as certolizumab, Pegol or Cimzia. Next, interleukin 12 and interleukin 23 inhibitors. The name of the drug is ustekinumab or known as Stelara. Next, interleukin 17 inhibitors, drug name known as Cosentyx or Celic or TALS. So these are some of the interleukin 17 inhibitors which can be given to the patient. Next, interleukin 23 inhibitors, for example, guselkumab. So this is another injection which we can give to the patient to relieve psoriasis. Next, a T-cell inhibitor known as the name of the drug is known as abatacept, which the trade name is known as Orencia. So these are some of the injections that we can give to the patient to relieve psoriasis. Next, light therapy, also known as phototherapy. Okay, so this is a very common management that we can give to a patient. So there are many types of medical light therapies that include PUVA. Natural sunlight is also used to treat psoriasis. Daily short, controlled exposure to natural sunlight may help or clear psoriasis in some patients. Okay, so we can allow the patient to sit under the sun for a shorter duration, not for a longer duration, but for a shorter duration daily. Maybe for like half an hour daily. So that will help to clear the psoriasis or the silvery patches of the skin. So that was the medical management that we can give to the patient as prescribed by the doctor. Now coming to the nursing management. So the first nursing diagnosis is impaired skin integrity related to psoriasis as evidenced by lesion and inflammatory response. So the nursing intervention or the nursing management that we can give to the patient are: number one, we have to assess the skin, note the color of the skin. What is the color of the skin? Is it brown or is it yellow or is it red? Then moisture, is it dry or is it moist? What are the pores? What is the texture? Is it leathery or is it smooth, glossy? What is the temperature? Is it warm or is it cold? We have to note the erythema, the redness. We have to note the edema, the swelling, and we have to note the tenderness. Next, instruct the affected person to not pinch or scratch the pores and the skin. So we have to tell the patient not to scratch any area where the psoriasis is present. Okay, so we have to prevent any further infection. Next, preserve the pores and skin moist. Okay, so we have to keep the skin in a moist. Next, cut back the formation of scales with the supply of bathtub oil. So the scales, okay, we can try to remove the scales by using bathtub oil. Affected person's motivation for consuming vitamins, excessive in energy and excessive in protein. So we have to tell the patient to take a high protein diet. We have to take lots of vitamin B supplements and we have to tell the patient to maintain nutritional diet. Next, diagnosis is acute pain related to psoriasis as evidenced by patient's complaint of pain and numerical rating scale that is 7. So the nursing management or the nursing intervention are assess the client's pain, including the location. You have to find out where the patient is having pain. What is the severity of the pain? Is it dull or is it knife stabbing, or is it point pain, or is it a stabbing pain? You have to check the precipitating factors, the onset, the duration for how long the patient is having pain, when is she having pain, the frequency, how many times in a day is she having pain, what is the quality of the pain, is it severe, is it acute, or is it mild, intensity and severity. Then administer NSAIDs, that is non-steroidal anti-inflammatory drugs such as diclofenac sodium or Voparon to the patient to relieve pain. Then advise the patient to wear loose, non-restrictive clothing made up of cotton. So we advise the patient to wear cotton clothes, which are loose and not tight. Then apply cool, moist dressing to the pruritic lesions with or without porous solution several times a day. So we can apply cooler, moist dressing to the skin. Avoid rubbing or avoid scratching with the skin of the lesions. And as advised by the doctor, we will apply topical steroids, topical steroid creams or antihistamines and analgesics to the patient, okay, to relieve anti-inflammatory effect, to provide anti-itching effect, and to relieve pain during bedtime. Next, the third nursing diagnosis is disturbed body image related to psoriasis as evidenced by visible lesion. Okay, so the nursing managements are: number 1, assess the patient's perception and behavior of change appearance. So we have to allow the patient to verbalize their expressions. So whatever feelings they have or what their expressions they are having, or whatever problems they are having regarding their body appearance. So we have to be understanding and we have to allow the patient to express their feelings. Then allow the patient to verbalize feelings regarding the skin condition. Assist the patient in identifying ways to enhance their appearance. Assist the patient in articulating responses to questions from others regarding lesions and conditions. So we have to educate the patient regarding the disease condition, about the risk factors, what are the causes, and what are the signs and symptoms, and what are the medical management that and what are the home remedies that he or she can perform at home. Okay, and by explaining to the patient about the disease condition, her anxiety or her fears also will be reduced. So these are some of the nursing diagnoses. So we have 1, impaired skin integrity related to psoriasis as evidenced by lesion and inflammatory response. 2, acute pain related to psoriasis as evidenced by patient's complaint of pain and numerical rating scale at 7. 3rd, disturbed body image related to psoriasis as evidenced by visible lesions. So that was about the nursing management. So we have come to the end of the topic today. So that is all. Thank you.